Grimm, everybody did this old British guy when they were doing Grimm, and Greg was the only one who came in there with this Jamaican accent. So, and it totally worked, but it was totally different from what they'd heard 1,000 times. So anyway, I always use you as an example, Greg.
And
see, Greg, the real story is that Greg thought he was doing a British accent, and no one could tell him it was Jamaican. Well, that's great, Greg. British accent, Greg. Great.
Couldn't tell the difference, right?
Yeah, he couldn't tell the difference.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are going back to Ennsville with 3 cast members from the award-winning series The Grimm Adventures of Billy and Mandy, winner of an Annie and 2 Emmy Awards, which is now available for streaming on HBO Max. And now is the time for all of you in our chat room to begin typing in your questions for them. Immediately after this session, you will have the opportunity to talk to them directly through our private chat options, as well as shop our selection of personalized autographs, all of which are available now at GalaxyCon.com. So without further ado, let's delve into this fevered creation of animator Maxwell Atoms. Our first guest is an actor whose body of work includes Invader Zim, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and can be currently heard on the YouTube series Hell of a Boss. Today he joins us as the voice of Daryl, Harold, and our favorite 8-year-old with a -5 IQ, Billy. Please welcome back our friend, Richard Horvitz.
Yeah. It's good to be here. Hi, Patty.
Hey, Richard, how you doing?
I had that whole thing set up for hours.
I'll bet.
Yes.
You always so plan so far in advance. Yes. How you been?
I've been well. How about yourself?
I absolutely cannot complain. Things, like I said, I think the year is off to a promising start.
I would agree with you. I know that you ended your last year with, or was it started this year actually, with a biplane airplane flight. Am I correct?
Yes, I did. I celebrated my big 5-0 on January 1st, and I took a biplane acrobatic barnstorming ride, and yeah, all over. And you were just so fascinated.
I am fascinated by it. I've always wanted to fly, but I'm afraid of crashing. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but I am.
Absolutely. Well, you know what I'm fascinated by?
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by Hell of a Boss. Tell our audience about that, in the case they don't know about it.
Wow. For those of you who don't know, I play a character called Moxie on Hell of a Boss, and it's on YouTube. You just look up Hell of a Boss. It was created by Vivian Madrano and Brandon Rogers. And Vivian, I'm just a huge fan of. She's exceptionally talented. She's the artist, animator, creator extraordinaire, has a huge following. We've posted 3 episodes, including the pilot, and huge. It's if you like music and you like comedy and you like Satan and you like hell, you're gonna love this series. And I also voice direct the show, so. And we've done quite a few episodes thus far, so we're just waiting for
Very nice. Also, I'll send you my video of my flight, and I'll send you my audio demo reel.
I love it.
Richard, always great to have you here, boss.
Always good to be here.
Our next guest is an actress, comedian, and singer-songwriter whose body of work includes Avatar, The Last Airbender, Batman, Arkham City, and of course, Scooby-Doo. Today, she joins us as the voice of Milkshakes the Cat, Aunt Sis, the new Mandy the Toy, and of course, the morbid and merciless Mandy herself. Please welcome back the always lovely Greg DeLisle Griffin.
What's up, losers? Sitting at your house bothering us all day. Have to be with Billy some more. I thought I escaped these idiots.
Sing us a song! Sing us a song!
No. Somewhere over.
Gray, how are you?
I'm good. Well, I mean, as well as can be expected. I can't wait for school to be safe again. Homeschooling 3 kids on my own, but anyway. But I do love doing these virtual cons. I don't know if you're ever gonna get me back into a convention hall. This is so much better.
We will try. The day will come, and we will try.
This is so much easier. I don't have to pay for babysitting. It's great. I love it. And people get more chance to talk when you're doing the one-on-ones. it's not like there's not people bothering, like, yelling behind them or anything. If they want personal like recordings, it's not like
I think in the future I don't quote me on it, but I think we're gonna do a little bit of both. I think future is gonna have both. I think we're gonna retain something very similar to this, but we're still gonna do our physical shows. And
you know what it'll be like, Patty? It'll be like when you used to go to Disneyland and you could sit in that big room and do a speakerphone call. Remember how amazing that was? It's like, oh my God, you can hear us. You can hear us all at once. And all it was a speakerphone. It was in Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be like at these conventions. Like Gray, let's say Gray or I can't be there, but you can wait in line to come into a room and see us on screen.
Yeah.
I love it. I love these. It's a much higher quality experience, I feel like, for fans. Like, it's just more intimate and, anyway.
Well, speaking of a higher quality experience, we should bring out our third guest and get this rolling. He is an actor, writer, and producer whose credits include Crashbox, Afro Samurai, and Crash Bandicoot. Today he joins us as the voices of Spurg the Bully and the Grim Reaper, now turned Billy and Mandy's dishwasher. Please welcome Craig Eagles.
We're bored. I don't know which way to look here. I'm not used to being on the virtual camera. Oh, here I am.
Everyone has their plushies. I never got one. So
the Mandy's are very hard to come by, actually. They are very rare.
Well, she was the breakout character,
She was the meanest and the baddest. Certainly meaner than I am. I tell you that.
Greg, how are you?
You know what? I'm not bad, man. It's a nice sunny day here in Cali, and it's not a bad way to spend the afternoon with my former cash mates. As soon as I get my drunk voice going, I skip in bourbon. I'm sorry. I'm just like chill. No,
I could have sworn you said your fellow cash mates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to say. The bourbon wanted me to say something else, but yeah, I'm back. Okay, yeah.
So I just want to say, Greg, just real quick, you actually voiced one of my favorite comic book villains of all time. You did the voice of the Super Skrull in the Marvel Alliance game many moons ago, and along with Luke Cage and Gorgon, but the Super Skrull is one of my all-time favorites, and thank you for that. You did a bang-up job.
Well, thanks for remembering that. I almost forgot about it. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't want to date either of us, but yeah, it was. But this way, it was on the PlayStation 2.
Ooh.
I think that's how old it was. But anyway,
but I remember the session now. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. And once again, gentlemen and lady, thank you for joining us here today. As we said before, we here at GalaxyCon absolutely look forward to the day when the world does get back to normal. We can once again host you in our physical stages and get you back in front of your fans. But in the meantime, we have the GalaxyCon virtual stage, and we are so glad to have you all here today.
Good to be here. Thank you,
Yeah.
Always. So the team right now is going to the chat room, pulling out the questions. In the meantime, to start us off, I would just love to hear individually how this amazing project began for each of you. Where did Billy and Mandy begin? And obviously, we'll go back to Grim and Evil when you were when the series was paired with Evil Con Carne.
Where did it begin?
Yeah.
Where did it begin?
It began in the brain of Maxwell Adams, I guess.
I wish Maxwell was here.
Well, where to begin for each of you? That's right.
Oh, okay. Well, I got an audition one day, and they sent me the storyboard, and I looked at this character of Billy, and I did it, and I submitted it, and then Maxwell Adams contacted my agent, and I met with Maxwell, and he said, the reason I liked your voice was because I was getting a lot of like Rugrat voices back then, because it was the days of Rugrats, and it was a lot of women doing the little boy voices.
What's wrong with that? Well, I don't understand what the problem is. Anyway, no.
Well, it was a lot of.
Go on.
And because I kind of like your voice is naturally young sounding, so that's how I got involved, and that's my story.
So,
not very exciting.
Well, no, so yeah, but you raised a good point, though. I guess he got a lot of hits for that precocious, kind of realistic sort of thing, and you just went in guns blazing.
Yeah. And my wife Kristen when she heard me like practicing what I was going to do, said, "Is he supposed to be dumb?" And I'm like,
It's like, I'm doing a great job, obviously.
yeah, right. He is now. He is now. I said, "Stay out of my kitchen."
And that so what was any further feedback he gave you once you got the part before you started? Did he ever say, okay, this kid's got a heart of gold and a brain of lead?
Well, it was really funny because we were part of something called You Pick Weekend or You Choose Weekend on Cartoon Network, and there was they would show 3 5-minute shorts, of which Long Hair and Double Dome and Robot Jones, I think, was the other one, and it was just the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and then we won. We won the vote, You Vote Weekend thing, but it was a good. I think, Greg, you'll remember this. It was a good year and a half until we heard anything about it going into production, and at the time we had done the pilot. It was Maxwell Adams' then wife who was doing the role of Mandy, and his ex-wife now. And I didn't know what was going on with that.
Because of her performance. They were
Yeah.
keeping it together till she turned in that crappy performance. Then he was like, "You're out. Forget it. We're
And
divorcing."
then Gray doesn't remember this, but this happened. I hadn't thought twice about the pilot. I thought that, well, I guess it won, but maybe they weren't going to go to series. Oh no, we hadn't done that. They hadn't gone to the U pick because Gray had to revoice it first. That's what it was. And so I see Gray at we were at I either want to say, I always forget this part. We were either at the Formosa Cafe, which I think it was the Formosa, and I saw Gray in the bar, and she was drunk as a skunk, and just I said, "Let me help you home. Let me help you." No, I saw her. She was sitting there, and we were talking. She goes, and she said to me, "She goes, oh my gosh!" She goes, "You're Billy. We're doing a show." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "I'm gonna be Mandy." I'm like, "Oh." Does Gray know something that I don't? Because we had the same age at the time. We were the same age. But then Gray came in and Gray revoiced Mandy, and the rest is history. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, fair, sir. So Gray, how's that? How is the casting from your perspective?
Yeah, I just got a last-minute panicked phone call from the director going, "This creator is really talented and he made this amazing show. Unfortunately, he cast his wife in the leading role, and no, you got to come in here and redo this." So I did, and then he ended up bringing her in for a guest spot later. I hope she's not watching this because I don't want to be mean, but anyway, it was obvious why later on when she did her guest spot why it was I needed to step in. Anyway, she just wasn't an actress, so
hey, that's showbiz.
it happens. Yeah.
It is. I mean, I won't say right now. I've certainly been knocked out and recast and things.
Yes. Oh, me too. Oh my God. I've had so many auditions for parts, like auditions come across the table where you're like, "Hey, that's my part. They're auditioning for it." And it's like, it's a terrible way to find out you're not doing something anymore when you get an audition for the part that you thought you had. Yeah. Anyway.
So what was your initial take on the character as it was described to you?
Well, it was really hard for me because I'm like a really bubbly person, and I had to just tone everything. They just kept bringing me further back because I started, talking like, and they're like, "No, less, Gray." And I was like, "Well, then I'm talking a little bit more." And they're like, "No, less. And so finally, I was just barely just like pushing air through my lungs, pretty much. So yeah. But I guess she told Adam or Maxwell Adams. She said, "Look, you can either have a fun thing to show your grandchildren, or you can have a hit TV show. You gotta, And so he did agree. And they ended up getting divorced anyway. So I hope people don't think I'm a jerk. I feel bad about let's start redo. Let's start over. I'm not a bully. Okay.
Jedi mind trick. Everybody visit it.
Wow.
All right, she's talking to her agent. Greg, how did this evolve for you? No, it's fine. Greg, how did the Grim Reaper fall into your lap?
The Grim Reaper. I came in and auditioned at Cartoon Network. I remember it was a session with Chris Zimmerman, our voiceover director, and Adam was in the session as well. And they were looking for the voice of Death, which was a pretty daunting task, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I think Adam says that he initially conceived it as like a British sort of Peter Cushing type voice, which I guess would have worked. But I do a better Jamaican accent than a British accent. And you know, I used to like this spliff with a lot of Jamaican friends, man. So I know, you know, how to do that. So. And I said, well, look, let me do a little spooky sort of voodoo spin on him. And so I did the whole old Caribbean thing, man, with the big basso fundo thing, with the combination with it. And I kind of conjured up a guy named Jeffrey Holden, who was one of my favorite actors. I don't know if you know Jeffrey
Put the
Holden.
lime in the coconut and drink it.
Yes, the summing up. Coconut and coconut. Ah!
Yes. Crisp and clean, no caffeine.
Yeah. That's
You know,
the guy that I was. I kind of like. I heard that commercial in my head when I went and just conjured this character, and I think Adam liked it, so he went with it, and that's how this guy was born.
now,
Oh, sorry.
no, please go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I tell the story a lot when I'm talking to other actors about, you know, making a choice that works but is different from what most people are gonna do. Because every time, just if any voice actors out there or budding voice actors, if they give you like a like one time I get a lot of times it'll say Fran Drescher, like a Fran Drescher type, and I just think because I interned at a casting place before I started voice acting, so I kind of started to learn like what people like and what people don't, or things to not do. And if it says, you know, a prototype, everyone just does a impression of that character. And I always say, think of another actor that could play Fran, or that could work in that Fran Drescher role, but isn't her, but is the same kind of type that really works, and your audition will stand out. Because, you know, believe me, they are so tired of hearing you know, over and over. And so you're just going to be a breath of fresh air if you come up with something where I go, you know what? It's not Fran Drescher, but it totally works. I love that idea. So I always say, I said, Grimm, everybody did this old British guy when they were doing Grimm. And Greg was the only one who came in there with this Jamaican accent. So, and it totally worked, but it was totally different from what they'd heard 1,000 times. So anyway, I always use you as an example, Greg.
And
see, Greg, the real story is that Greg thought he was doing a British accent, and no one could tell him it was Jamaican. Well, that's great, Greg. British accent, Greg. Great.
Couldn't tell the difference, right?
Yeah,
That's how the best original characters come up, doing a bad impression. People always say, like, I don't do great impressions. It's like, good, do a really terrible impression. It'll be like a fresh new voice no one's heard before. It's turning into a voiceover class.
I freely admit, most of my Disney characters start off as a bad Hans Conried, and then I move from there. So,
Yeah,
there you
sorry,
go.
Burton.
Why don't we have him on here? I'm trying to. We're
He
trying
doesn't
to
do
do
it. Well, he doesn't.
You talk to him for us, please. And Greg, you got a kaleidoscope action going on.
I don't know what's happening, man. I'm going
Might have
disco
to turn
over
your
here.
camera off and then turn it on again, Greg. Turn your camera off.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Unless we're giving seizures to everyone watching.
I'm going disco here, man. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to be distracted. I'm not trying to.
No.
Look like I'm on Mars now. It happened before. I have a light here, and I'm trying to calibrate the.
You look like you're in Kansas before Dorothy went to Oz.
I love it. It's very Instagram, you know. Very.
All right,
There you go.
Oh, man, there we go. Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Well, gentlemen and lady, thank you so much for giving me the background on this, and thank you again for these performances in this show. This
Thanks, Daddy. Bye.
okay, but you stay right where you are.
Oh.
I've always called this is one of those miracle shows in the sense that I just can't see how. Okay, it's a little kid and he's dumb, and a completely acidic girl, and the Grim Reaper. You with me so far? Okay, and this is a show for kids. Yes, it is. Bless Adams for pulling it off.
I gotta say, I still to this day don't know how Max got the pitch through. I mean, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when he pitched this show. When he pitched this show to Cartoon Network, man. This is like, who would have thought? Two kids making death their slave, you know, basically is what it is. They turn death into a punk, basically is what happens.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But hey, again, like I said in the introduction, 2 Emmys, an Annie, and a bunch of other nominations across the board. So
and still people so beloved. Like it's just so sweet. Like when I'm doing conventions in real life, sometimes you have a big poster behind you of all your little characters, and people wander by and they they don't want to approach your table yet because they're like, I don't want to like get locked into something with this lady and not want to. So they stand back and they're looking. It's like, should I approach the table? And so many times people are like, oh, Mandy, oh my God, Mandy, and then they come, it's Mandy reeling them in.
Yeah. That's the one, yeah. And again, that's a great thing for guests to always have for voice animation. Put all your characters, no matter how big or small, put them. Somebody will go, oh, you play the bad guy in Pirates of Darkwater in episode 17.
It's always the picture you didn't bring too. Like people will come up and go, oh, I love that one obscure thing. Like you don't have any of those pictures, and you're like, oh, darn it, I could have just. Now I've always bring at least one of even the most obscure things. There's always that one person. So. Anyway.
Indeed. So, all right. Our producers let me know we're good to go on audience questions. So, what do you say we roll our first one? And this comes from Ben, and they would like to know what inspired each of you to get into acting.
I was an actor from the time
as a 10-year-old kid. Oh, go on. No, go on.
No, go ahead. No.
Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna say I can't even remember a time when I didn't want to be an actress or an actor. To be in 2021. But I've always wanted, even when my very first preschool project, they said, what do you want to be? And I put entertainer. It wasn't even, and it's so funny because I'm not just an actor. I do comedy and I sing and make records. And my Valentine's Day single's out. You can go to my Twitter and find it and download. It's on all streaming platforms. I have to plug that because otherwise my manager will get mad at me. Anyway, but I've just never, and my grandma was a single parent. My grandmother raised me and she's a single parent and she worked in a factory. And so the easiest way to get childcare was to sign me up for plays after school. So I would pretty much have childcare until 6 p.m. every day. And my friend's mom would drive us both to rehearsal. We would be there until 6. My grandma would pick us up. So I was doing children's theater. Even at like 8 or 9, I was in college play. I was in Wait Until Dark at Grossmont College, which was like in San Diego. So I was always around adults. And I was the only child in a family of adults. So I had this built-in audience. They were always like, do something, sing, make us laugh, and I was like their little trained monkey. So that was fun.
Indeed. So, all right, Greg, how'd this start for you?
Oh, I saw a movie when I was about 10 years old called The Great White Hope with James Earl Jones, who ironically enough has become a voice icon as well. And at the time, I didn't know that I wanted to be an actor. But when I saw this big, larger than life, bald-headed black guy up there on that screen, I'm saying, hey, I may be able to do this too, even though my testicles hadn't dropped yet, so I couldn't get that voice style like he had. But
mine haven't either. I made a career out of it.
Well, we're both in different registers, my man. You do your thing. You in your whole category there. But no, watching James Earl Jones in that movie made me want to be an actor, and I didn't even realize at that point. But as I look back, I realized that was the moment that they clicked for me. Yeah.
Nice, very nice.
Richard?
So that first inspiration.
Oh
no, because I was a show. So I started acting very young, like Gray. I was 5 when I was professional, and I even wrote a poem, a limerick, and it was like, when I grow up, I think I'll be an actor acting on TV. I'll sing and dance and go to France and own a yacht on the sea. And so this is like my first composite.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is gonna blow your mind. See this? I can't see this guy right there.
Oh my God!
I'm 16 years old in that picture.
Richard,
that's how little I was.
Stop.
Richard, I need you. I need you to scan that composite at the highest resolution. I want you to send it to us, and we're gonna add it to your autograph portfolio.
Oh my God! Okay. You'd have to, Richard. Oh
yeah, here's my here's the shot. Hi.
Oh my God, baby!
You look like Scott Baio, man. Did anybody tell you that?
There it
you
is.
Look like Scott Baio.
Wow. You look like Britannica shirt.
Like a Scott Baio thing.
You look like Tot Bayo.
Tot Bayo.
all my kids into acting too. All of my children are members of SAG. So like my son Tex was on the Loud House. He played Lincoln on the Loud House for 2 seasons, and my son Harlan's done work. He just joined the union, and then my daughter's just killing it. She's only 4 and she's doing a ton of things. But it's cutting into my work because they're like, oh great, Posey has a session tomorrow, so we couldn't book you for this thing, so we're gonna have to reschedule. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, mom first. But she sits right on my lap and she does the Zoom with the other directors, and they tell her, and she can cry and do accents and laugh. Because I've worked with so many kids, I knew what good was. And a lot of kids, they can't give a real laugh. They go, or you have to tell them a joke or something. She's got like
okay.
Okay, mom.
I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah, her kids are beautiful. You should see. Tex just did a photo shoot that's really good. But I want to tell you this. So I'm really psychic, and it's true. I'm psychic by generations. So this is from Kittredge Street, Elementary School, February 28th, 1974. 1974, okay? We had to do our first project. We learned to write between the lines, and then we had to draw a picture. This is what I wrote. Mr. Sponge, okay? Mr. Sponge.
Okay.
Once there was a sponge that could walk and talk. All the kids. Where did I go?
No, you're on full screen.
Okay. Once there was a sponge that could walk and talk. All the kids loved him.
Oh my God, Richard.
Okay? I know.
Hillenburg ripped you off.
I know. But one day all of his friends disappeared, so he looked and looked but could not find them.
Oh my God, it looks just like him.
I know. I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh.
Just then he fell into a hole, and what do you think he saw? You guessed, all of his friends. That's my art. Not as good as Texas.
Oh,
I created SpongeBob.
You did.
1974.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
You better call Larry Parker. I think he handles that kind of cases.
Oh, but
call Larry Parker for your plagiarism, man.
Just trademark everything. Well, Ben, thank you. That was a wonderful question that took us down a bunch of fun rows. That was fabulous. Oh, what's next? And this comes from Christy. What's your most memorable moment in the recording booth? And you may draw from any aspect of your voiceover career.
Oh, I have a great story that involves Greg, and me.
Wow.
And without giving up any names.
Okay.
But Gray loves this story. I've told it a million times, but it's true because I still tell it to this day. We had a guest actor on our show, and he was new to voiceover.
Oh, I know this story. Keep going.
Yeah, new to voiceover. And,
I don't think I knew this story.
You'll remember when we hear it.
Yeah,
So
we never saw him again, Greg. That's the point of the story.
never saw him again. But Gray and I used to sit next to each other in our chairs at our mics. It would be Gray, then me, then the guest star, then Greg, and then the guest star. So we're in there. We don't know who this is, but it turns out that Chris Zimmerman, the casting director that Greg was talking about, had told an agent she'd give this guy a shot in voiceover because, nice guy. So we get there and we do the first scene and we're opening up and Gray says to Phil Lamar, okay, Phil, on this, let's do like a captain's log. And Phil says, well, do you want Kirk or Picard? And this new guy stands up and goes, I do a great Picard. Do you remember? Yeah. See,
Yeah.
Gray,
Phil
Phil looks and says, that's
And
great.
Phil is the nicest guy in the world unless you fuck with, sorry. unless
Yeah.
you fuck with him.
It's okay. You're good.
He looks at me and says, that's great, but this is my job. And so at that moment, Gray dug her nails into my thigh. She's like, oh my God, what's going to happen here, right? I'm like, ow, Gray, stop it, right?
I already
So
had
then-
my hand on his leg anyway, so I was
Yeah, right, exactly.
Hey.
But it was in the morning, so I was awake. So in the next, he gets to his lines, and he does his first line, and he only had like 3 lines in the whole thing, just like give him a shot. And he went, blah, 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 does his line, and then when he finishes, he goes, does it up. Nailed it. Nailed it, right? Does it again. Nailed it, right? Each time Gray is digging her nail deeper and deeper into my leg. I got it. That was my favorite. That's one of my favorite stories. Do you remember it, Greg?
Yes. Oh,
No, I
God.
remember. Yeah, I do. He was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, no, the thing is, he was a good actor, but
Yeah.
you have to be that. People always say, like, why does Tom Kenny work all the time? Why does why does Richard work all the time? Because it's fun to. This is a good group of people. Like, if we're gonna hang around with each other, we want to be around people like Greg and Richard, and like people that are fun and easy to work with. If any attitude or any, I mean, like, there's a line around the planet to do this job, so you have to be nice and fun and easy to work with. And if you any little bit of attitude or whatever, there's like, I don't know anyone in this job that's not a really great person. Like, it's really fun to work with everybody because everyone
got a
who's
list.
risen to the top, but everyone who's risen to the top is like a really fun, decent, good person, and anyone who ever showed any it's like, nope, there's too many people who want to do this. We don't have time for your attitude.
Yeah.
Even no matter how talented, like, and think about it, as a boss, wouldn't you want to hire somebody who's fun and easy and maybe like 10% less talented than the asshole? Sorry, I can't be around.
I think that our
anyway.
general thing is that those of us that do this together, and we all see each other all the time in different rooms than we used to, and now we see each other on Zoom, is we're all working towards the same piece of art. We're working towards the project, not trying to work towards our own next step up sort of thing. And we got the job already. Now let's just work on the art. So
and being a good, like, Frank Welker is such a lovely person. Like, he never. I'm not as lovely a person, but like, if someone misses a cue, I like to tease them about it. But Frank will never go, "Oh, it's her line. I'm waiting for Gray to talk." He'll always
just wait.
He'll just wait, and he'll just reread the line again and act like that it must have been his fault. And I always have noticed that about him. He's never about his ego. He's always about giving to everyone else, because it just makes it more fun when you're just gracious to everyone around you. So
I will, however, go, Gray.
Matt Lillard is so used to bugging me during the booth, like slapping my leg when it's my turn, that because I just have ADD and sometimes I'm checking tech and I'm just like, I'm all over the place. And I actually got mad. I missed a cue and was actually mad at Matt for not slapping my leg so that's what a great person I am. Anyway, I was like, Matt, you should have slapped my leg. He's like, Gray, you shouldn't miss your cue. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. That's the lesson. Not that you should have. Anyway,
very fair. So,
Greg, what's your favorite memorable moment?
Me?
Yeah.
In the booth.
In the booth. My first cartoon series was a series called Invasion America, and it was produced by DreamWorks, and a guy by the name of Spielberg had something to do with it.
Yep.
And I go into the booth, and I get to do a scene with a guy who I've been admiring my whole life. Used to watch him on TV when I was a kid. And it was Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy and I had a whole page-long scene that we had to do together, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my scene. I did the scene and it was great. He was such a nice guy, just really cool. The man was just really class, just cool, And then 5 or 10 minutes later, after I'm outside in the booth, getting some water or drinking coffee, it just hit me that I did a scene with Spock.
I know.
It just shattered me.
I do a great Spock.
And as an actor, you get in your professional mode, your head mode, where you got to do the thing. There I go on Mars again. I'm just going again. Okay? Yeah. And but as a person, when I got out of it and I was out of the professional mode, it just really wow, I couldn't believe that I just did a scene with Leonard Nimoy. That was my
and that was an interesting series.
It was.
And then
we should have gotten the second season. I don't know to this day, why we didn't. It was great. It was really, and it was one of the first prime time dramatic animated series.
Yeah, and it had a gargantuanly huge cast, talent wise, and everything else. It had upcoming talent and a lot of established, and I think they concluded the story in novel form, if I remember correctly. So, but at least they wrapped it up. So anyway,
I still geek out. It doesn't matter how long I've been doing this. Sometimes when I was doing when I did a couple of Animaniacs episodes, I looked down at the plugins for our mics, and they had labeled them with masking tape, and it said, Tress, Rob, Jess, Maurice, you know, and I was like, and Gray, and there was like, and I was like, oh my god, my name is. So I was like, oh, I'm taking a picture of that. I couldn't tweet it anywhere or anything, but I was like, just for my own dorkishness, I need a picture of that. And so it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this, I still have dorky moments like that where I was like, I can't believe this.
Gray, one of my favorite moments, and it's still a running joke with Gray and I for the last I don't know how many years. But Gray told me something one time that I think is the most brilliant thing I ever heard. She is when you're talking to an actor, like a voice actor or something, and it's like someone says, "Oh my god, I had to call a plumber this morning. Because my pipes broke and no one was available, and I was late to get to Warner Brothers. And the guy shows up and blah 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 blah, and tells this whole story about the plumbing. And Gray will say, "So you're working." Because it was all about Warner Brothers. You had to say you're on your way to Warner Brothers. So to this day, no matter whenever we can fit it in, either on a post or a text or something, I will always say to Gray, or she'll say to me, "So you're working." And the other day we were doing a Zoom show, and I wanted to see what she said because I don't know if she saw that I was in the Zoom room with her at Nickelodeon. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm in a session." And I'm like, "Oh, so you're working?" And she said, "Yes, I am." I go, "I know, so am I." And she looks, and she finds me on the Zoom bridge.
I'm so glad I wasn't full of crap. Like, I don't know, I'm just, you know, I
can't talk right now. I'm not feeling well.
I was talking to my friend the other day about, and it's terrible, but like every time a celebrity dies, every actor I know uses it as an excuse to be like, "Remember that time I worked?" You know, there's always like some picture. But then my friend goes, "Oh, well, I really enjoyed your picture of Larry King and you the other day," and I was like, "Oh." I mean, I complain about people, but I am just as awful as everyone else. So.
I remember trotting the boards with Mr. Plummer.
I know. People always use it as an excuse to go, "Oh, I remember how talented Christopher Plummer said I was." You know, and it's like, well, we have no way to verify that now, do we? Your people are full of it. Anyway.
It's all about them.
That's what Dear Evan Hansen is about a kid that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. And how we have to connect ourselves to people dead, and Evan Hansen is not connected to this person, but it's like, yeah,
true.
It's true.
Whew.
Next question, Patty.
Yes, hey, Fred Christie, thank you very much. That took us down some interesting rules. And Richard, I actually hadn't heard that story before. I thought you were going to tell the story of the actor who said, "I don't play grandpas."
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I don't remember that one.
Different show.
Okay.
Different show. It was Don Adams, my idol, who wouldn't do our show because it was an animated show. And we called him, the creator, and we got his number directly through his managers in his office. "Hello? It's Don Adams. What do you want?" "Well, we got a great animated character for you. It's called Grandpa Lungfish." And all of a sudden there's a pause. He says, "I don't do grandfathers." "It's an animated show, Mr. Adams. It's just an animated fish." He goes, "I don't do grandfathers."
I do. How do you think I got this job? Anyway.
I do a great grandfather.
I'll do it in a heartbeat.
I do a great grandfather fish. From Anonymous, if you could hang out with a character you voice, who would it be?
For me, Frankie Foster. Frankie Foster seemed like a really fun, sweet, funny, easygoing girl. So, yeah. And we have a lot in common, both raised by our grandmothers, both surrounded by weirdos like Richard and Greg. So, yeah.
I think for me, I would hang out with Raz from Psychonauts because he had psychic abilities, and that would be fun. And so I probably would hang out with Raz.
And you have psychic abilities.
I do. Mr. Sponge.
I know. Amazing.
I would hang out with a character I did called Sketchpad for Crash. It was a show on HBO, a children's show on HBO, and Sketchpad was this bebop guy with he was very 50s, very hip. He had the dark sunglasses and the beret. He was cool, man. You know, he was just one of those guys that would just like to chill. You know, I had to smoke weed with those Sketchpads, just shooting up.
That is a great Jimmy Stewart. Wow.
Thank you. Wonderful life, baby.
All right, let me follow this up with a reversal. Who's the last of the characters you voice you'd ever want to hang out with, let alone be in the presence of?
Well,
I think
Well,
Billy
Azula
would-
from Avatar: The Last Airbender, because I'd end up being banished to the boiling rock.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think Billy would get really annoying. He'd be like, shut up.
Well, we can ask your wife.
It is our anniversary.
Kristen!
Kristen and I will be married. We'll be together 25 years this Tuesday.
Oh,
wow,
that's big, brother.
amazing.
Congrats,
brother.
When it's right, baby. Huh?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to hang out with what I did. I did a character Spurg, I guess. Spurg was a jerk.
The bully. Yeah.
Yeah, big bully. So I wouldn't want to hang out with him.
Absolutely fair. Anonymous, thank you. And Richard, I meant, of course, when you were testing out the voice of Billy, not your own. I think we got time for one more question.
You did a callback, Patty. You were doing a callback. Got it.
I was.
Got it.
I
Is this
was.
supposed to be dumb?
I was. Yes. All right. I think we have time for one more. Let's roll and see what we got. And this comes from Brian. If you were running for class president, what would your campaign slogan be? I have never seen this question,
Okay, I think
but I
mine-
like it.
Vote for me.
My kids. Oh my
Free
God.
lunch for everybody.
I'm not a Republican.
Mine would be, I like pie.
Or pie. But of course, he's president of the math club, so he's like, I like pie. 3.14. All right, that was gonna tell you what. We got time for one more. Let's really well. Thank you, Brian. That was a fun one. From Daniel, who would win in a rap battle between your characters?
In all my characters, there's no doubt Billy would win as the rap guy because Billy, I used to do like 3-page rapping. See, what are you doing there? What are you wearing that for? Yeah, that's good. I mean, that, like, we had to do take after take when I didn't trip on those things. And Chris Zimmerman, I was speaking to her just a while ago, so I'm working. And I said, I don't know that I could still do those kind of like fast, monologues that I used to spew out at like General Scar. But she said if we worked at it and you got warmed up again and exercised again, you could do it. But he would win my rap battles.
Fair. Who else has a theory?
I think Grim would be a good rapper, but he had to have his flow like Snoop Dogg. Snoop got that flow. He's kind of like and say no double PD or double G. You see, so I can do those. So I think Grim could work, and he got the voice for it. You got to put him. He's not like a speed rapper or like one of those hype rappers. You got to put like a little slow, little Barry White thing on him. You know what I'm saying? And then you can go in there and do the thing about it. Wrap it up and wrap it down and wrap it all the way around. Wrap it here, wrap it there. You move, you wrap it everywhere. See? Am I right?
Are you all right, Greg? Are you all right?
I'm just
Gray
saying.
can rap. Gray is a
No.
musician.
I'm a musician, but I don't rap. I like rap, but I just
Country raps.
I don't know. I
Keep Kimiko and Shaolin Showdown. She'd probably be a good rapper because
she's very into Wi-Fi and technical stuff, and I don't know. She'd probably be, and she
could talk really fast. So, Gongi Tenpai.
anyway.
Oh, no, that works. That totally works. Daniel, that was a great question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with the cast of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Gentlemen and lady, any final words for our audience before we go?
I wish I had a Mandy plushie.
Destroy us all!
Embrace the Biden, man. Embrace the Biden.
Once again, guys, it's been my absolute pleasure to serve you all today. Thanks again for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us today, and thank you for those great questions. Hope to see you all again soon. Until then, bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.